There we go. We live. What up, y'all? Welcome to Hotep-ish. Intelligent-ish talk. Intelligent shit talk. When we come here to talk that intelligent-ish, I'm your host, Dewan B. Yeah, people are like, why do you call it Hotep-ish? Because look, man, I'm an asshole. I saw a whole bunch of people a few years ago online calling people, black people who love our history, oh, y'all just hoteps. Y'all this, y'all that. And when I saw the quality of individual making that swipe at people that like us who love our history, I figured, hell, let me name my show that so you sorry sons of bitches don't come here looking for shit. I don't want you around. We here playing on that, so I call it Hotep-ish because I am into my history, but I'm not giving up pork. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm not. You know, I love my history. But I'm not calling my wife my queen. I got a personal I just personally think this is my own point of opinion. When I hear dudes call a woman a queen, I'll be like, nigga, what you hiding? It's just because I know two dudes that called a woman a queen, and one of them I found out later was an abuser. So I'm like, man, what was all that shit you was selling? So yeah, and I'm Hotep-ish. But live with me, I have my special guest. The person, you see this little banner up here that's designed, my logo, all that shit. He designs all this stuff, whether it be for any of my companies. Super talented dude, very funny. I met him in the days of stand-up comedy at the Comedy Union. He tours with Tony Rock. He has his own design company. And he designed some dope ass shit. And he's a super intelligent brother. So I got him here finally. My man Joe Fox. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, Dewan
Man,
B?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I was
You
just,
feeling good? You
I
Rona
be
free? You Rona free?
I'm Rona free. Ain't no Rona over here. Corona be
Yeah.
gone like that whack ass gospel song Cats was talking about back in the day, back in a few months ago. Remember that Corona be gonna?
Oh man,
It was some
folks,
church singing
real
that shit.
real creative nowadays, man.
Hey, when I
Sing
used to
about
go to what was that?
I said, man, sing about anything. They'll
Man, when I was in
make a
church,
rap about anything.
playing the drums, man, we used to take all kind of regular ass songs and turn them into gospel songs. I'll never
Yep.
forget. I was playing the drums when Tupac died. Remember, and, because this is I be having random stories. We're gonna get into the topic, but y'all know
Yeah.
I'll be having these random ass stories. People know Jamal Crawford, former NBA player, played like 18 years,
Okay.
was with the Clippers, 6 man of the year, most 4-point plays in NBA history. Well, before he moved back to Seattle, he lived in LA for a little bit, and we went to
hmm
the same church.
Which
So
one?
it was a church in LA called Zoe on Adams. And
Oh, okay.
so when Biggie got shot, no, this before the internet. You know what I mean? You couldn't go
Right.
online and find out what happened the night before.
Right.
So Biggie got shot on a Saturday night here in LA, and this happened maybe about a mile from our church. We found out at church on Sunday morning that Biggie got shot last night. We thought niggas was lying because Mama didn't let us listen to 92.3 The Beat on the way to church.
Right. Right.
So we didn't know. So we left out of youth service to go to somebody's car to hear on the radio that Biggie got shot. That's how I found out from Jamal Crawford, NBA legend. When we went to church together, that's how I found out how Biggie got shot.
Wow. Everybody remembers where they were at when an icon or somebody famous, a celebrity died. Now I don't remember where I was when Biggie got shot or Tupac got shot, um, but I do remember. I was at work when I found out. I was at work. I had a little cubicle space job, and Tupac died, and I found out about there. But I do remember when Aaliyah died. We was at the club partying,
Oh,
so it was like, so then, we heard the news. Then it was like, dang, party kept going, but it was nothing but Aaliyah songs for the rest of the night. So
that's
it was like eerie, but still, it was like people crying, slow cuts. It was emotional, but the party.
man. I'm with you right there, man. Cause like I found out Rick James died. I was in Miami at Jerry's Deli on Ocean Drive on Washington, right there, right one block over from Ocean Drive on South Beach. We was
Wow.
partying all night. We got to Jerry's Deli at about 5:30 in the morning, and this was right after Rick James had done Dave Chappelle's show. And we looked on TV like Rick James dead. God damn.
Wow.
But like, you know, I brought up Tupac in church because when I was in church, my church remade "I Ain't Mad at You."
Into what?
It was "God Ain't Mad at You." The nigga was playing no. God ain't mad at you. I was like, I'm on the drums like, I'm really playing this shit.
Man, you know, now it's more secular music being added. I remember listening to Jamal Bryant, and he worked into his sermon that these hoes ain't loyal into his sermon. I was like, no, he didn't. You got a hip hop.
Come on, man. See, nah.
I was like, what? What was you talking about? Now that's a writer right there. When ministers is writing material.
Yeah, man, that's a writer.
I was like, man, he got it in there too.
Man. What's up, everybody in the chat room? We got Thomas Ward in the chat room. He said, "What's up, Joe Feezy?"
What's
Thomas
up?
Ward, Vegas. Wait, I think like that. What up? That's Giovanni up in the chat room. We got Courtney Outcast Base. Thank y'all for joining the chat room. Say something live. We about to get into this. I got my special guest, Joe Fox. Very, very intelligent brother. We about to just have some intelligent-ish talk right now. We gonna mix it up with some shit talk, but let's get on into it with Breonna Taylor. As we know, the cops that killed Breonna Taylor got
Murdered.
off. They walked scot-free. No charges in the death of Breonna Taylor. They did make some charges, but what are the charges? She got charged. They got charged with some kind of wanton assault. And I'm thinking, okay, where's the hot mustard and the egg rolls? The fuck is a wonton? So I had to look it up. What's a wonton? I'm thinking, all right.
Oh, an appetizer. That's a Cheesecake Factory appetizer. Nigga.
I'm thinking like, hold on.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. I'm thinking, hold on. Did the cop burn her mouth with some overfried wontons? Like, did she get like a roof mouth burn? The fuck is a wonton assault?
That's a snack food. You can buy them shits frozen and shit.
See,
dip them in some sweet and sour sauce and some shit. Man, the charges, I can't find like where that's like on the books. Like, okay, use this charge. That sounds like something that they made up on the spot. Probably not, but it's like, what is that? Niggas been mispronouncing it. Niggas been like, what is that? Don't know what it is. Ain't never heard of it. Who else has been charged with that?
This is the thing. You're right. It's kind of like the tuck rule between the Raiders and the Patriots. When's the last time you ain't heard that rule being used since 2000?
Yeah. Like, where did that come from?
Let me tell y'all what a wonton assault is. A wonton assault was basically Breonna Taylor had some white neighbors, and those bullets could have killed them. You wonton motherfucker, so we gonna give you a little charge for that. But as far as shooting her and killing her, no charges. So we talking about this because here at Hotep-ish, Intelligent-ish Talk. What's up, Poppin'? God bless. That's the first time I seen Poppin' say something with sense. He be in the chat room on Craig Facts going in. 2.5 hours strong. Every week. Good to see you in the chat room, Poppin'. But Why am I bringing up this? Because I see a lot of black people that are very emotional. We're very sad in a lot of ways. You see a lot of people disappointed. And we're here to talk about this. The reason why I'm tired of this, we're doing this from a Dr. Welsing, from a Neely Fuller point of view, is because those are the master teachers. The reason why a lot of people are sad and hurt and confused is because we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on because we're not taught this shit in school. They don't put our real scholars, the one that give us the real information, on CNN and MSNBC. So since they don't give us the information, we as black folks got to pass the information around through the grapevine. That's why I had this platform here, because my number one thing is when it comes to black people, we ain't stupid. We just misguided. And I'm not here to say I'm Moses and I know it all. I'm just a nigga that read a lot and pay attention. And as I learn, I like to pass along information. I ain't no scholar, no extra smart person. I just care about black people, so I want to pass around the information. Because when we all think, when we all see what's going on, we smart as hell, man. We fix our own problems, man. You niggas don't need no leader. You niggas just need to know where to go. Like I once needed, like I still need. And that's why I have my t-shirt right here.
Love it.
And the reason why I made this t-shirt is because instead of putting my favorite athletes on the back of on the back of me, I want to put my favorite scholars on the front of me, because these are the people who woke me up and taught me what time it is. And today we're focusing on Neely Fuller and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Joe, before I get to talking too goddamn much, tell them a little bit. The reason why I asked Joe to come on this show, because Facebook is a tool. I remember someone, it was either on Facebook or maybe it was at the Comedy Union. Someone asked you, when did you, like, because they heard you talking that real stuff and they weren't ready for it. They were like, when did this happen with Joe? And you said you read Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Before we get into it, tell me people about who Dr. Welsing is and what the impact that she had on you in her book.
Okay, well, as we all know, Frances Cress Welsing, if you've never even heard the name, the younger generation of today, they may have heard it when she was being referred to in Baby Boy with Tyrese and Taraji P. Henson. Like, they opened the opening credits of that movie based on her book. That movie was kind of based on her book, her Baby Boy. Why do we call each other boy? Why do we, say the crib? All that opening scene is from Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. So by that movie came out, I was like, oh, that's the same person that wrote this book that I read. I don't know, 2000 something, in the 2000s, 2002, 2003, somewhere around there. That's when I was introduced to the ISIS Papers. That is the name of her book. The ISIS Papers, the keys to the color codes, or whatever it's called. But that book, I actually read it for the first time out loud, because I was like, wow, who came up with this? Like, how did she break this down? And then when you do some more research on who Dr. Welsing was, she's, psychologist, child psychologist, and she's from a long line of doctors and psychologists and doctors. So she comes from an educated background, and if you listen to her story, you can understand the work that she put in on a very clinical level, a very scholarly level. And you brought up Neely Fuller Jr. Neely Fuller Jr. was Welsing's mentor. Okay, so you have this man who's still alive today. Welsing, she passed a few years ago. I can't remember when she.
December 30th, 2015, right before the year started.
2015. So this old man is kind of carrying on the work a little bit in a lot of ways that he started her on. And you gotta go use this tool called the internet and look at the past lectures, talks that this woman who wrote this book that's breaking down reality with in regards to racism, white supremacy that we all are being touched by, the whole world. Now she's a scholar, she's a psychologist, no emotion. This is just what it is. This is how she sees where the condition of black people comes from and how people relate to each other based on skin color. Okay? The keys to the color are described in her works. You know, what is it? If you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, stay around. If you mellow, if you yellow, you mellow. If you black, get back. All that, those little rhymes and stuff, they mean something from back in the day. And she put this in a consumable form that teaches the people. And Dewan, you and I, we have talks all the time. These are the OGs of the scholar game, the intellectuals. They did the heavy lifting. They wrote the books. We don't have to write any more books. If we don't, we probably will. But we don't have to. They did the heavy lifting.
They did the heavy lifting.
They wrote it all down. All we have to do is read it.
And we have to know. And I'm gonna add a little more to who Dr. Welsing, someone when she graduated college, her parents had money. She could have gone anywhere in the world. I encourage you guys to look up her last interview she had with Carl Nelson. It's on Carl Nelson's page. She interviewed. It was maybe the day before she died. She interviewed Carl Nelson, and in that interview, she talked about her history. But she also it was very prophetic because she was basically telling us where we need to go from here. And it's very hard for me to get through the end of that interview because she died maybe no longer than 18 hours after that interview.
I gotta watch one I didn't see.
It's like a 2.5 hour interview. It's a great one to listen to. She did with Carl Nelson over in DC. But when she graduated college, she had a chance to go anywhere in the world. She could have gone on vacation to the Bahamas. She could have gone to Hawaii. She could have said, you know what I mean, I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna go to Egypt and take a bunch of pictures in front of the Sphinx and shit. She didn't do that. She went to Germany. She said, I want to go to where the Holocaust happened just a few years ago, and understand the mental condition that set up the people to accept the conditions that were the Holocaust. And she went around and she studied for years. She asked the people, questions like, okay, you knew they were getting on these cattle cars. Why was it cool? And basically in her studies, she basically found a connection between the propaganda that was being sent out and the look and how the people viewed the people that were the victims of the Holocaust. And so I'm bringing that up because in her book, one thing that she mentions is, she talks about how, I don't know if she mentions it. I may be getting a different book mixed up with this, but this I can tell you, I can't tell you which book I got this part from, but it's true. When you study American propaganda, when you study Nazi propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, he talks about how they studied American propaganda and how they treated us as black people to perfect. We perfected here in America, and Germany did it to make the conditions cool enough for them to kill all them people. I'm saying all that to say this is a woman who sacrificed her fun to learn and to come back and teach us. And she didn't write the ISIS papers to almost 30 years after she did these studies.
Yes.
He did these studies and still waited 30 years to put this book out.
Right.
Because she was practicing her work as a psychiatrist. But one thing she got to see is the perception of the population, making it okay if there are a certain group of people who are seen as extras, as stowaways, as basically the society doesn't care. So what do we see here, and how do we tie that into Breonna Taylor? Mm-hmm. And how do all these black people keep getting killed, and it seems as if no one cares? Truth is, they don't. Truth is, they never will. And in her book, she talks about how they're in it for genetic survival. We can eliminate them just through our sexual organs. You know what I mean? And they have a problem with that. So, in order to maintain a system that we're in like that keeps a whole class of people on the bottom and a small class of people on top, is it you have to have an enforcement mechanism that has carte blanche at executing people with no repercussion. Talk to me, Joe. What are some of the things that people, that some of the concerns that you see out there right now with the Breonna Taylor shooting, and some of the confusion that you see going on out there? Talk about the confusion.
Well, confusion is a necessary component to rule over a people group. Okay, so confusion, the chaos, the old saying, in a dark room, everybody's blindfolded. The person who has who knows where the door is the king of the room or whatever. There's all sorts of sentiments on that, but the person who is not confused about what's going on can rule over the confused. Mm-hmm. So confusion is one of the main ingredients of racism, white supremacy, according to Neely Fuller Jr. and Dr. Welsing. So they talk, I'm pretty sure you heard some of their talks where they're talking about how to work out the understanding of how racism, white supremacy works. And you hear where they agree, you hear where they disagree, you hear where they come to a meeting of the minds of the understanding of this. Uh-huh. So what you see is, chaos is king that's ruling over our people as a group in these situations with, black bodies being murdered in the midst of the chaos. So you see this over and over again. The other day I said, somebody is insane. Either us as a group, black people as a group, either we're insane because we keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting these anti-black bigots to change. Mm-hmm. Or the anti-black bigots keep on murdering us, expecting us to change into what? So, in my opinion, you have chaos and confusion on both sides colliding. The only difference is the system of white supremacy benefits other people groups, and it takes away our benefits, black people as a people. So you have confusion in the moment. We have confusion about history. We have confusion about how things work. And it is because of that, I think you have different opinions about like what's happening in this. And, you have people, you have, government officials that know what's going on. They know exactly what happened. Those officers were there. They know exactly what happened. But a black body was murdered. Breonna Taylor, another black female, was murdered. And it's their fault. Mm-hmm. Yes, they came in gun blazing. You can say all the no-knock warrants and all that. You can smooth it all over as much as you want, but at the end of the day, they took life from us again. And we have the same behaviors because of the confusion, because we don't know the truth about what happened. The only truth that we know is that they don't like us and they keep killing us. Mm-hmm. And we don't know why. We're confused as to why.
Yep. And we gotta know that, like Neely Fuller says, in the system of white supremacy, we can expect this. This isn't anything that we should be surprised about. people always ask me, like, why don't I get emotional about this stuff? It's because, you know, when when you know at 10:10 the train comes down the tracks every morning at ten
Yeah.
ten, you gonna keep getting mad talking about I can't sleep, or you just gonna go to sleep sooner or do something about it? You know what I mean? Or you gonna get up and you gonna do something? Are you gonna complain and do something about it? And it's one of those things where we don't do anything about it. So what is there to complain over? You know what I mean? We is that look. I had go back and look at my episode I had with Miss Oklahoma. She's talking about our Aboriginal history here in the Americas and how they had a rule here. The Aboriginals, when the natives, when the white man was coming over, if they harmed anyone in the village, they took out that person and their family. And for hundreds of years, they were able to keep the
Mm-hmm.
pale face away. It was when they stopped doing that was when you saw the westward expansion move on. I encourage you guys to go back and look at that episode. It's like 3 or 4 months ago. It's called American Aboriginals. The system isn't going to do anything, and Neely Fuller talks about that. We're prisoners of war. We're
Yep.
in confinement, and when you're in a prison, you can't expect justice. Um, how do we combat this? How do we do things to combat this? Because at the end of the day, we don't have the guns, and we don't have that nature. We're not the kind of people that go around scalping heads off. That's just, what I mean. That's been taken out of us. You know what I mean? We don't have that right now. So how do we combat it? We combat
Well,
it through.
go.
I'm saying, I'm gonna shoot it to you. 1 second. We combat it. That's why we're talking about Neely Fuller and Dr. Welsing and bringing attention to these people, because Dr. Neely Fuller is still around. He's in his 90s, but he's still doing a weekly radio show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like the show. I like Neely Fuller. I'm just gonna here's his website, producejustice.com. I love Neely Fuller. The host to his show, it can be hard to listen to because his host don't really be paying attention. But go back and listen to a lot of his older episodes. He's really on point, and he has a book at producejustice.com called The United Compensatory Code Concept, and it talks about you defeating the system of white supremacy through a code of conduct to counter
Yeah.
their code of conduct. Their code of conduct, they follow each other. Look at the news. Everyone's on message. Everyone's talking. Even the so-called liberal media, they keep the scope of everything very limited. They stay on code, and we tend not to. So that book is a good start of codifying your behavior and understanding how to respond. Because when you remove the emotion from racism, we can then start to think and do things to defeat racism. But as long as we're crying and complaining about it, saying Black Lives Matter and trying to convince other people that Black Lives Matter, we're not going to get anywhere. Talk to me a little bit, Joe Foxy, your thoughts about what we're talking about.
Well, you brought up Neely Fuller's book. One of the things, and that he says, I mean, he's always in his book mode. His book is in his head. So when you listen to him talk on the podcast, where I can't remember the name of it right now, but he always applies his principles in this book. One of them is called, defining words. Like you mentioned, the wanton endangerment. Like, what does that mean? So to have a discussion about that, Neely Fuller would say, wait a minute, hold on a second. What does that word mean? We can't continue the conversation until we know what that means. I need to know what you mean by it, and I need to understand what you mean by it so we can have an effective conversation or a constructive conversation. Everything is about being constructive and not non-constructive. Otherwise, there's no reason to talk about it. So, social media, there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of confusion. People say these different words, and you think that you understand what this person is saying over here, but you really don't. And I mean, there's just no way to have a real conversation through posts and people get riled up, about in their thinking, and they do get emotional. Hey, I'm not immune to that. I get fired up. You know me. I get fired up on these subjects, but I'm human, and unfortunately, people who don't look like us have forgotten that, and they kill us. So we can't help but to get emotional. But Neely Fuller Jr. is always talking about a code. Stay on code. Even that, talking amongst ourselves and talking online, I think we're starting to get on code. But when we don't talk about what that really means, I think, again, we're still in confusion, because we don't know what you mean by that. You don't know what I mean by that. But we can talk about it now. Being on code means we have a code of conduct, and one of those things is, hey, chief among them is, hey, black people, us first.
Us first.
You hear it all the time.
Family
Black
first.
Okay? When you say that, get on code, when I say it, I'm thinking, consider your people first. How does that affect us first? Okay? I don't know why I keep on doing it. But I need to make it clear. I'm talking about us first. Then, what else you talking about? Okay? The system of white supremacy has a code.
And it's white first.
And we need to, and not even just that. Black
kill your
bad.
ass first.
Not just that.
And
There's
take your
many
shit.
codes.
I had a good question in the chat room. Legion of
what's
Knicks
that?
podcast. I don't take this question as a troll, brother. This is a good question right that he has right here. I encourage you guys to ask these type questions. Don't feel uncomfortable asking these type questions, and don't attack them. We know when we get trolls in here. We know when we see them troll bots.
Okay.
Legion of Knicks, you're not a troll bot. This is a very, very decent question. The question is this for those who are listening on the podcast and not watching. Not to get anyone mad, but when it comes to Breonna Taylor, was her death actually racial, or was it a bad situation made worse by the drug aid that was by the police? Look, I look at this. How I look at that. Was her death in a vacuum racial? Did they say, okay, we're going to go out tonight and kill a butt naked woman laying in bed? No, that's not what happened. They didn't come out saying we're going to kill someone. What happened was, the issue is, first of all, you have no-knock raids. And these no-knock raids seem to disproportionately affect black people. No-knock raids are nothing new. You can go back on your Spotify, on your iTunes right now, pull up an artist named Gil Scott-Heron, and he has a song from 1971 called No Knock. And he's talking about Nixon allowing no knock to be something that disproportionately affects us. So Gil Scott-Heron warned us about this shit 50 years ago. No knock. The racist part comes in. They went ahead, they came in, they killed the woman, but then there is now no charges. No kind of punishment for the mistake. If a person, just say if a person is a social worker, and they drop a child off at home, and that child, they don't see that child go in the house, that child goes somewhere else, and then gets murdered around the corner, do you know the social worker is responsible for that child's death? So my question is this: if a social worker is responsible for a child's death that they had no participation in, if that they sent back home, why the people who mistakenly made the wrong, there should be criminal liability for the people who put in the wrong address and the people who executed it? Because we all know that if there was a black cop that accidentally killed a white woman, they would have found charges to put him in jail. Muhammad Noor in Minnesota, the first cop to ever go to jail in Minnesota state history, it was Muhammad Noor for shooting Justine Damond, when she attacked the cop, making that loud ass noise, and he reflexively shot, he's in jail in the same city that the officer that killed Philando Castile still walks free. So the racism comes in how the law is applied and how it is passed out. That's where the racism comes. I see you want to say something, Joe. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, this is my contemplating. I'm feeling what you're saying. You're pointing out, hypocrisy. You're pointing that out. Oh, it's a different set of rules when it comes to when the police accidentally kill a Caucasian woman and the cop that kills her is a melanated person. I don't know what he was, but he was definitely not Caucasian. Different set of rules. But when a black woman or a black man dies because of a police shooting, different rules get applied. Now, I think we should be careful as black people not to fall into this state of cognitive dissonance, trying to justify them of their actions, because we see this every day. We cannot put past any possibilities that it's not just police officers in uniform that are involved in killing black people. Okay. Yeah, you put out the form with the wrong address on it. Did you? Did you?
Good point.
Did you?
Good point. Good point.
There's always a oops situation that they can lean back on, because that man.
These cops are a bunch of Britney Spears ass niggas. Oops, I did it again.
Yeah, oops, I did it again. Okay, because that seems to always be a situation that they can claim, oh, it's a clerical error. How the hell does a killing take place because of a clerical error?
And on top of that, I used to work in shipping and receiving. If I put the wrong address on a computer to go to the wrong, I would get fired for sending the computer to the wrong house. On a clerical error, these motherfuckers get clerical errors that cost lives.
Cost lives. We ain't talking about a package that got sent to the wrong address. I mean, that could be my mistake. But guess what? Like, if I accidentally put fill out a form where it has my address on it, and I got a package being delivered, or if I write it, the bad handwriting or something like that, and I don't get my package, that's my fault. That's my fault, right? Now, no, I didn't mean to do it, but it's still my fault, so I'm responsible for that, just like what you said. So that clerical error, whoever wrote it down or whatever, they have to answer for that. They got to pay.
Yeah, they got to pay.
But I'm saying is this: everybody's collaborating. We can't let that go through our mind. Oh, it's just a clerical error, man. They involved. That situation is very plausible. Hey, we want to create a situation. My man is new on the squad. He's new at the department. We need to break him in. Oh, I got just the thing. We have a warrant that we have to deal out. Here's the address. Take him on the thing. Whatever it is, these people know who they are. This is not the first time they showed up at that house. There's trouble over there that they caused. There's always a situation. They know. That's not the first time that they there. They know where they're going. They know who they're seeing. They know who they're supposed to see. And there's a possibility that they may be able to shed some blood. See, DeJuan, these people, I call them anti-black, bigot, race soldiering bloodthirsty, murdering, beastly acting people. And they work and they think and they do to cause these situations so they can take us out. Why? Because they're anti-black, and we cannot just, it's just this. These people are in public and they have jobs.
You're right about that.
And they work.
And they work.
As a bonus, side effect, they're able to do these things and then claim something else.
Technophile's been making some good points in the chat room. Propaganda perception engineering, aka, it's the tip of the spear. That's a good point.
Say that again.
He said propaganda / perception engineering is basically social engineering is just the media tip of the spear. I'm glad you made that point because you made it a point earlier, Joe. Earlier when you were talking about, we were talking about, the whole situation where it been a clerical error possibly, or maybe they did it on purpose. But look at how slick the media is. For them to throw the clerical error narrative out there, they know what they're doing to spend the energy of the conversation. We should be asking ourselves, okay, if what you're saying is true, there's a clerical error, where's the punishment for the person who made the error, versus arguing over whether the error was made or not. They get us on they shoehorn all of these side issues, all of these diversionary subjects to get us off the fact that they shot this woman. And let me bring up one more point before I get back to you, Joe. Salute to Judge Olu Stevens, because what we have right now is we see the Democrats and a lot of different people who hate their fathers, using this to split black man, black woman. Oh man, black women aren't protected. Ooh, black women ain't protected. Look, for you people repeating that bullshit. Her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, he a cool ass nigga because his name is Kenny Walker. I ain't never met a nigga named Kenny Walker that didn't have that nigga got a jump shot, got Jordans, and know all the handshakes. A nigga named Kenny Walker got some heat for your ass if you bust up in his house, right? Don't bust up in a nigga named Kenny Walker's house. I'm surprised
that nigga right there.
That nigga Kenny Walker probably only got one shot in because he had a 5-shooter pistol. That's what niggas named Kenny Walker carried. 9mm pistols, 5 shooters. Well, anyway, her boyfriend Kenny Walker capped one of the motherfuckers, did the best he can do. And then we had Judge Olu Stevens, who, when Kenny Walker got arrested, Judge Olu Stevens said, you know what, man? You're not about to be in jail. This was a no-knock raid. You didn't know who the fuck this was. And so Judge Olu Stevens let him go. Mind you, they did say they let him go with prejudice, meaning they could bring that shit back up if they get Olu Stevens off the bench somehow. So we see a situation where black society, in the areas we could be, were codified. The boyfriend shot back. The judge said, no, you're free, because he was a fair judge and saw it was some bullshit. Had it been some other judge, Kenneth Walker be in jail right now. That's what Neely Fuller talks about when he's talking about code and coding up. You code around we're not coding around black first because black is superior, black is always right. It's because like what Neely Fuller and what Dr. Welsing says, racism is a game of chess. There's a white side of the board and a black side of the board, and we got to play our side of the board. What Judge Olu Stevens saw was the system coming against a man like a Kenneth Walker, and he went back and he applied the law righteously. When they get on their code, they don't care about the law. They just see a black person that did something they didn't like, and he's going to jail. We as black people have always been the main people who uphold the law. We're really the only people in this country that uphold the law, really. What do you say about that, Joe, and the codification and like what you see us as black people starting to come together around a lot of this thing? You were getting into that. Talk a little bit more about how much you seeing black people get on code.
Well, again, the our scholars, our professors, intellectuals, they've done the heavy lifting already. One is read, and listen to the people that weren't listened to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Because everything that they said is coming to fruition. Dr. Welsing said that these youngsters that are wearing sagging pants, in 20, 30 years, they will step out of the pants and step into a dress. She said that decades ago.
In
Look what happened.
1971.
Look what's happening. Some of them
Look.
some of them wearing pantsuits.
You said that. What did Neely Fuller say? He wear pantsuit. What did Neely Fuller say though? 1971. And Neely Fuller he reiterated this on a recent podcast of his. He said the black man's anus is gonna be the new white woman vagina. He said that in 1971. Yeah. Now you got Dwayne Wade's son going around here and they praising that shit.
He said, Neely Fuller Jr. said years ago, I don't know that you the history buff, so you know the dates, the years and stuff, but he said years ago, he said the white man has to be the only man. So since the black man can't be the white man, well, how about this? I'll give you a choice. You can't be a man. You can either be a boy or you can be a woman. Take your pick.
Let's dig into that a little bit deeper. I want to reiterate that point. I don't want that point to go by. I want to dig into that point a little bit. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Joe Fox, comedian extraordinaire, Brain Street Designs, design all your shit. The man tours with Tony Rock. The man is one of the funniest comedians out there. We talking that real shit, but if you notice, I always have a lot of comedians on this show because comedians, we know how to break things down. And being funny is a job. We can do that shit at any point. But we also the people that know we're funny because we're able to see the world from a different perspective and a different point of view. And sometimes it's good to laugh. Sometimes we got to get this information, man, because like I said, here at Hotep-ish, my only thing for doing this is I love black people. You know what I mean? I'm already knowing this show ain't going to get no major sponsorship and not with the shit that I talk about. You know what I mean? I got another show that I'm doing for that Incense and Ashtrays that's coming soon. But for this show, I know there ain't no money in this, but I know that there's the payoff is activating the minds of already intelligent individuals who just weren't pointed in the right direction. And also striking up conversation, being a place, thank y'all for joining the chat room, that we can come together and talk about these things because we know that they don't like us talking about this kind of shit. So, back to what I was saying about, I lost my motherfucking train of thought, Joe.
Neely Fuller said, you can't be a man.
You can't be a man.
Or a woman.
He said,
or a female.
Neely Fuller said that you have two options. Be a permanent boy or be a woman. Okay, what's a permanent boy? What is the number one thing that they celebrate and try to herd black people into? Sports. Sports is fun, but at the end of the day, sports is recess, not school. You know what I mean? It's it's good to play sports. Y'all know me, I break basketball down better than anybody. I love my basketball. But we as a culture, we tend to put our sports at a very high priority and say, fuck the sciences. You know what I mean? Entertainment. We're the ones with a comic relief, with the dance. You know what I mean? And I'm a stand-up comic, so I know what it is. But I also know as a stand-up comic, this is one of the easiest ways for me to get my message out by making people laugh. You know what I mean? Because people aren't expecting it. But they keep us in a state of constant, that's being a boy. We're not raising city planners. We're not raising people, we're not talking about planning freeways, who who the electric system, the plumbing systems for the city, the wiring. We're not we're not even thinking about any of the grown man shit that it takes to run a society. Our minds are for the most part focused on the bullshit. Talk more, Joe, about the suspended the what do you call it? What do you call it? The arrested
Arrested Development.
development.
Okay. Well, boys play with toys, men play with tools. Men use tools. I don't say play with tools. Boys play with toys, men use tools. And the state, the boying of black men in this state of, we got to play this, play that, play this sport, play. No building. No. You don't want to be a mechanic or an engineer. See that football over there? Pick that up, run over there. Let me see how fast you can run. And that gets glorified. The song and dance. Let me say something about that. Entertainers, we have skill. It's an art form that we express ourselves in an artistic way in whatever form it takes. It gets frowned upon in higher society, people trying to solve problems and all that. It's only because they're not listening to what we're saying through our art, and we're telling you everything about what's going on around you. Unfortunately, we get a bad rap. Just a side note, I don't like the way Ice Cube is being shat on because he's an entertainer. Okay? Entertainers work and they show excellence in a industry. Okay? It is a service and or product that they have mastered or are trying to master, and they command an income, and they get wealthy off of it on any other area of activity, a disciplined art form that has, like, it deserves respect like anybody else. Mm-hmm. Okay? So because you're an entertainer and you have something to add to the conversation, you should not be shunned just because you're an entertainer. Depending on what you say. Depending on what you say. But just like Gil Scott-Heron is an artist, and he's talking about the realities that we're living with still today.
Here's where they flipped it on. He right about that. Here's where they flipped it on us. On one hand, we all know that the entertainers have a voice, but the entertainers that the dominant society promote aren't the entertainers that we need to be listening to. So I'll tell you right now. Okay. As a stand-up comedian, if you ask me to interview us, and as a person that's I see myself as kind of smart, but if you ask me to interview the presidential nominee, I'm going to probably say, you know what, that's probably better off in Dr. Claude Anderson's hands, because that's really what he does. And what it is for Black society, they flipped our entertainment. They get the worst of our entertainment and give that maximum exposure. Neely Fuller says this, how they get the worst of Black society and give it maximum exposure. So when you see Cardi B, when you see Meg Thee Stallion, when you see all these untalented people getting pushed, that's because they push nonsense on us over and over and over again. And that's what the system is supposed to do. That's what the system is designed to do. Now, we've been talking for almost an hour about what the system does, about some of Neely Fuller and Dr. Welsing's remedies. What are some solutions? What are some things we can do to solve this issue? Why are we talking about all this shit?
I know the solution. I know this. Get out and vote.
Now, go ahead and eat a pork chop on the way to the polls. Hey, look, I'm telling y'all right now, if somebody tells you the solution is voting, tell them this. All right? Breonna Taylor's killers were acquitted Up quit it. I said quit it, nigga. I said quit it. I'm Neely. I keep jumping back. God damn it, shit. Look, Breonna Taylor's cop killers were
Uh,
acquitted 60 years to the day of Emmett Till's killers. September 23rd, 60 years apart. Back then, they were telling us voting. Emmett Till is basically what kicked off the civil rights movement. There was a lot of things going on leading up to it, but similar to how George Floyd kicked off what we see going on right now, the Emmett Till murder kicked off what we saw back in the 50s and the 60s. And back in the 60s, it was one of the major linchpins in the whole movement. And for someone to tell you the solution is voting, after 60 years of voting, all of these black people that we have in office, and we're still dealing with the same shit that we were dealing with 60 years ago and before that. After having a black president, quote unquote, after having black mayors in all these different cities, we got a black Supreme Court justice that don't give a fuck about black people, Clarence Thomas, on the bench right now. We've done all this, so voting is not the answer. Voting can be part of a solution if you use it wisely locally. But voting nationally is not the answer. And if someone tells you to vote as a solution, tell them to turn around, bend over, and Cobra Kai they motherfucking ass with your size 13 and make sure it fits in the crack of their ass. And leave your shoe.
You know, Dewan, it's you talk about solutions, and you know, and of course I was joking about voting being one of them, but
I know.
voting voting alone is not going to do it. Not only that, voting as black people as a group, it's different for us because of the condition that we are in. And I'm pretty sure you caught a lot of flack. I know I'm starting to really start catching a whole lot of flack about this, but as I read and inform myself more about the political solutions that can take place, you can't get around the fact that black people are in a condition that we have to take other measures. Okay? You know, going back to Ice Cube, a celebrity that had the most original of ideas. How about we ask for something for our vote as a group?
And put it on paper.
And put it on paper. And it's like, who are you? What do you know about what we... He's doing that on behalf of us. Because Ice Cube has cousins that not rich and not rappers. He's got family members and friends that they weren't a part of NWA and didn't get them record deals and stuff like that. He's doing it for that. He's doing it for them. He's doing it for us. Okay, so don't tell me that what he's proposing is just garbage. Okay, politically, there's something there. He needs help. I think we need to listen to what he's trying to say. I don't know what has transpired since, you know what he put down on paper. You know, he's trying to give it to the right person. I hope that doesn't fizzle out. Like, I like to say words like reparations and cut the check and tangible, actionable legislation that is solely and specifically for us so that we can build economic strength in the marketplace, so we can build political power on. I like saying stuff like that in times like these because we forget what we're really trying to get because they keep on killing black people and get us off the beaten path as to what we need to be focused on. This is why we need to get on code and consider our people first among all other people, because that's what everybody else is doing. And that's just with color. We're not even talking about groups of people who have the common interests like sexual habits and I want to live in America too habits. And what's the other one? I am a female. You know, those people groups get stuff because they get on code for their people groups. Have a flavor that you want to put it, but my people group, I'm thinking about first. What do we get? What do we get?
And here's
I'm
the
aware.
thing. I'm glad you brought that up, man. I'm glad you brought
Yeah.
that up, Joe, because and brought up Ice Cube. Thank you for bringing up Ice Cube and what do we get? Because people, here's what a lot of people ask. Okay, but they're not going to do it. So what do we do then? We stay home.
Say that again.
People ask, okay, they're not going to do it. They're not going to give us anything. What do we do after that? Look, people, this isn't a one election thing. We don't. It's like baseball. Only difference is you don't get 3 strikes. You get unlimited strikes, and you get unlimited balls. You don't have to swing at every pitch. If they're not giving you something to vote for, what do? You use that time at home to continue building your business. You use that time to, if you have children, talk to your kids and just have a conversation about school that day and about what girl they like or boy they like, whatever it is. Get a better relationship with that cousin that you fell out with. Grow yourself as an individual. Get spiritual. If you say you're a Christian, pick up the Bible. If you know whatever it is you do, grow yourself, educate yourself, make yourself a better person, because if they're not giving you anything to vote for, there's no reason for you to waste your time to go vote for them. Now, I'm not saying don't go to the polls like in California. I'm going to vote. I'm voting for one thing, Prop 22. I'm voting yes. I want Uber drivers to keep their freedoms. So I'm going to go vote for yes, because in California we have propositions that affect our laws. You know what I mean? But if they're not giving you anything to vote for, you hold out. You abstain. The same thing the United States does in the UN. When the UN has something on the ballot that doesn't advance the United States political position, they abstain and withhold their vote. Because I'm not gonna help someone else get something that's gonna favor them. If y'all get it on your own, you get it on your own. But you're not gonna get it with my help. So when you talk about the LGBTQ issues, and I want to get in these country 2 issues, they need to come to us because they don't have enough numbers on their own to get a damn thing. And so they get those within our society who don't like being our color. They'd rather be gay first, or they'd rather be of whatever foreign flag they fly up first. And they co-opt them and use that voting block, run on black, get in office, and then give all these other people the benefits. Black people, that stops when we say, okay, we're just not going to vote until you give us what they want. How long will it take? It may take 5 elections. It may take 2 elections. It may take 10 elections. Look, 1960 was Emmett Till. What if back then we said, okay, we're not going to vote or help any political party. We're going to put our foot down till we get reparations, till we get land, till we get separation. And what if we spent the last 60 years doing that? Don't you think we probably would have gotten what we wanted maybe 40 years ago? The time is going to go by anyway, so you ain't got to do shit. These are the motherfuckers that want a job. Why are you going to help them if they don't want to give you shit?
Let me offer this, Dewan. You know, black people as a group, we're suffering, we're dissatisfied. And we show up at election time to cast our vote. The way that it is like now, it's like, hey, I want to run in the Olympics. You hadn't trained for nothing. You had 4 years to get ready. You want to run the race in the Olympics. Okay? No. You can watch. You can pay your ticket. Thank you for coming. but you're not qualified to run. Understand? Politically, it is the same thing with black people as a group with our vote. We are not politically prepared. I say this all the time. We are politically immature. We are politically malformed and ill-equipped to participate at this level. We need to get our game up. We need to train for the political Olympics so that we can win something for us, if that makes sense. Okay? We just show up on game day. We have not done any practice. We have no plays. Okay? It's like going to the Super Bowl. I'm not a big sports buff to where all these references and players like you are, but the fact is, it's like going to the Super Bowl. Okay? You ain't gotta go to the Super Bowl. You ain't gotta buy no season ticket. You ain't got to. What are you playing in it? Are you on one of the teams? Okay? Black people as a group, the way that we vote, it's like, hey, I want to go to the Super Bowl, and you know, and I want to play too, and I want to go to the victory party too,
and we eat
and
fried
you know
chicken
what?
at 2
I
a.m.
want to ride a limousine too, and I want this, and I want that, and I want to go. And like, no, nigga, you are a spectator. You sit in the seat. You watch. Pay your ticket and you watch. That's what it's like for us. You can come to the Super Bowl, but you can't play on these teams. You can't come to the victory party. You can't come down on the field. You stay up there in those spectators.
In the 600 section.
You are a political spectator. Your vote is your ticket to the game. That's all you can. After when the game's over, you go home.
I want to address.
Yeah, I saw it. No.
That's it.
That's not what we're doing here. That's not what we're doing here, Dewan. See, this is what happens with black people as a group. Not being informed about how politics work. Get all emotional. Yeah, we got to go vote. I get that. I'm not going to tell you not to vote, but hey, if you go vote, vote for something. Okay? Don't just go to the polls and bust it wide open for these political pirates. You are being politically promiscuous and you get nothing out of it. You get nothing out of it. So I think that black people as a group, a strategy is to be aware of how we're being used for our votes. First of all, voting is wishing.
That's what it means.
This is what you wish. This is your legal wish of which you have no political standing on. We're saying this. And this is what we want. They're like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, but we need to be more aware of how we're being used for our votes. Black people and our votes, we are political steroids for every other people group other than us.
We are political steroids. That's a good point.
Steroids.
That's
and
good.
They like to infect us. We are politically enhancing votes. Okay, and they want to use all other people groups to try to. We need your vote. I saw a public service announcement with big ass.
The vote with the women with the ass, yeah. The Atlanta
get your booty to the poll, and I'm like, you want me to vote based on that?
That's an insult to my motherfucking intelligence.
You're insulting my intelligence, trying to titillate me so you can get my one little vote. Okay? That's not going to work anymore. And if I can help it, I love my brothers, I love my sisters, but we have been brainwashed into thinking our vote means something that it doesn't in this condition. In this condition, we have no economic strength, no corporations, no institutions to back our political members, our politicians.
Basically, what
demand.
Joe was saying, look, niggas, we ain't in position to do all that. Look, like what Dr. Carl Anderson said, voting's way the goddamn down the line. We have a lot of shit we got to do before we get to that point. But I want to address something real quick that was said in the chat room a little bit earlier. And it was, and I respect the comment. Love him, but Ice Cube wasn't the catalyst for the ADOS movement. I want to address that for a little bit because he wasn't. But this is why I say this. This is something I see going around, and it's a trap that I see black people falling into that we cannot fall into. The whole Yvette Carnell tone, I want to take credit for what happened. Look, man, it's not about that. Whether you a fan of Yvette Carnell, they both them niggas got me blocked because they both shitted. They shitted on Dr. Claude Anderson. I don't like that. You don't talk about Dr. Claude Anderson because he's been doing this forever. He's the OG. You don't talk about Dr. Claude Anderson. So I just asked him a quick little question. I was cool with both of them before that, but I asked them both a quick little question. They both blocked me on Twitter and all that shit. But I want to say this. Their egos and people, whoever you listen to, don't get out of the personality, get out of the people. It's not about credit. This is a movement. This has been going on. Our ancestors have been pushing. The civil rights movement stood on the shoulders of the people who won World War I and who went through Red Summer in the 1920s. The people who went through the 1920s Red Summer stood on the shoulders of those who were around when black people were being reclassified from native to Negro. Those people stood on the shoulders of people who were enslaved. You know what I mean? We all stand on the shoulders of those who come before us. There is no one group, no one person, no one thing that gets credit for any of this. It's not about the credit, it's about the message. The reason why I end every episode of this show, of this broadcast with there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages, is because it's up to us as individuals to pick up the game being played, being told. It's not about the personality. It's not about who we like, who we dislike, who said it first. Because at the end of the day, most of the stuff that Yvette and Tone is saying is shit that Dr. Carl Anderson been saying for 40 years, but Dr. Carl Anderson ain't running around saying, look, I've been doing it. He's just giving you the information. So it's not about the people. It's not about who you like as a scholar. It's not about your favorite YouTube personality. It's about all us as people getting the message and getting on code and living the message. That's what this shit's about. All the other stuff, well, we can leave that behind because if we start getting up into personalities and who is who, they gonna start killing them motherfuckers off. You know it. If we get into I'm on this team versus that team, the government's gonna infiltrate it. These things have happened too many times, black people. That's my thing with you, Bet and Tone. Y'all need to sit y'all monkey asses down and let y'all message get out and shut the fuck up. And I'm saying this because this happened with the Black Panthers. This happened with the US organization. We have some good shit going. People's egos get all inflated. The government infiltrates the organization, either by hook or by crook. They either gonna flip the message into some other shit like they did with the US organization, or if they can't flip the message like they did with the Panthers, they're gonna infiltrate it and get rid of all the people. And then because people are caught in personalities, people are caught up in who said what first, who did this and that, the movement dies because you're looking at the people and not the message. And this isn't to talk down on my brother or my sister. I'm not sure if you're man or woman who said that. It's just to bring perspective to the whole thing. This ain't about personalities, man. The whole point of us talking about Neely Fuller and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is because it's about the ideology. It's about the code. It's about, and we all are going to have our own way to get there. Some people get there in a profane way. Some people get there in a profound way. It's not, profane and profound both exist at the same time. It's not us to judge what is what. It's about us to listen to who can deliver the message that we can hear it the best in and go and apply the message and get the fuck off the messenger. And if how the person says it is too much and they curse too much of this or that, then you might need to find somebody else to deliver it, or go inside yourself and say, what is it in me that's not allowing me to listen to that person? Because when we were children, We were able to learn math, English, and science regardless of how the teacher taught it. Where did we lose that ability? That's something that we have to get back. And that's the whole point of us having conversations like this. I want to make that clear. It's not about me. It's not about any person. Fuck individuals. Fuck all these niggas at the end of the day. What are they saying to help you out, and how can you use it to apply and grow your life? That's what we're here for.
You know, I like what Neely Fuller Jr. says. He said, if you don't understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, anything that you think you understand, you will only confuse you. And so many people are afraid to take. Well, what is that? Why is he calling it that? What is this thing that we don't understand? And just to try to understand a little bit about how white supremacy, that's what it's called. That's what we're calling it today.
That's what they named it.
But yeah, they named it. White supremacy, that is a term, from what I have read, came out of the mouths of Abraham Lincoln and others during that time. Okay, so that's nothing new. And when people don't want to just say the word and what are you talking about, it's like, oh, what are they saying over there? No, we're trying to figure out how this works because it's affecting us. It's affecting us. Another thing that I think here's another term that you don't get that you don't hear a lot about is the Negro problem. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
The Negro problem. Okay? They've been saying that, and all problems need to be solved. Neely Fuller says all problems can be solved with questions and answers. What do you think white supremacy is doing constantly 24/7, 365 days? Sometimes
they stay questioning and answering.
A year. They're asking, what are those darkies doing now? And what do we need to do so they don't do...
And they foot soldiers will come up to your barbecue and ask if they wanted to find out. Hey, what are you doing?
What are you guys doing? So I'm like, am I the only person that sees this? I know I'm not the only person that sees this, but that is being solved all the time. The Negro problem, we need to solve it again because that is an evolving problem to them that we need to be solved from doing what? I don't know exactly, but let me say this. Melanin has a built-in snapback program. I'm happy about that. It doesn't matter what you do. Leave us alone for 5 minutes. We will evolve into a solution. The problem is we wind up getting killed or overtook. We're not paying attention. We don't understand what's going on with our own people. And it dies, like the movement dies, like you said. You leave us alone for a couple of years, we got Black Wall Street. Now, we just need to, next time when that happens, we need to make sure that we protect it. We need to protect everything that goes on in it, around it, because we need to get on code. We need to get, this is us. This is for us first now.
And let us
get up together first.
When Joe says protect don't mean protect and go back to barbecuing. Look, it's a constant thing. Protection is ongoing. Because as long as you build some dope shit, it's always going to be some people trying to steal your dope shit. It has to be an ongoing effort. Like, protecting our shit we built has to be just as important as building it. We tend to build some dope shit and be like, hey, everybody come have fun. And they take it, and we be like, hey, what happened?
And when you go to
Eminem fans, go ahead.
When you go to a barbecue, you just don't bring the meat and bring the stuff, man. You make sure there's no bugs or no ants. And you got to constantly keep that out. You don't want nothing to get on the food. You want people to have fun and make sure nothing, cover it up. Cover up the meat. Make sure it don't spoil. Especially the potato salad. That's spoiled fast. You eat that and you throw up and you have vomit. And you're on the toilet for the rest of the evening because you done left it out. Okay, it doesn't spoil. You got to make sure everything is new and fresh. Okay, anything you come up with new, you got to make sure you protect it. Okay, protect your interests. That is what white supremacy does all over the globe. And another thing, well, it was the big new Brzezinski that said the phrase. It was back in the day. It was easier to control a million people than it was to kill them. Now today it's infinitely more possible to kill a million people than to control them. He said that. He said that years ago. Okay, so what are we? Either gonna be controlled or killed. I said this on a Facebook post. Someone said, "What do these white politicians have they ever had to fight for anything or something?" I think Ruben posted it or somebody like
Ruben.
that.
I gotta get Ruben back on here.
I did try Ruben. He said, "Have they?" I said, "Yes." They fight, they lose, they kill, they control. The answer is yes. Yes, they have to fight for something. And when they fight, they lose, so they kill, so they can control. It's an ongoing thing. Okay? You take the emotion out of all of this. If you see for what it really is. Black people as a group, we're being used for the same thing we've been used for when we were originally brought over here for. We are their property to them. We are their cattle to them. We are their building blocks. We are their free labor. Now they got to pay for it a little bit. They don't like it.
They don't like it.
They don't like it.
That's a good point. And so we having this conversation. Thank you again, Joe Fox, for listening. Yeah, support black business in the chat room. Circulate wealth. Thank you. Michelle Byers, we are prisoners of war. You right about that. Like Neely Fuller says, we are prisoners of war. And once you understand, the reason why I'm again pressing Neely Fuller is encourage you guys to go watch his videos online, read his book. Same with Dr. Francis West Welsing. Because once you realize you're a prisoner of war, like he says, Andy Dufresne realized in the Shawshank Redemption, once you tell the truth about your current situation, then you go right into solutions on getting yourself out of the situations. And that's where we are. We're at that point now where we have to start creating our own solutions. And the solutions and a lot of the road work has been laid for us. It's on us to now look at it, read, and apply. And when you read information, you don't read for belief. You don't read for someone to hold you by the nose and guide you where you're supposed to go. The whole point of reading and getting this information is to understand how and work the information for you. How do you rate it? What's your perspective on it? That's why Neely Fuller calls it the United Independent Compensatory Code concept. Independent because the only person you're with throughout the day is yourself. It's just you. How do you act? How do you counter racism? We deal with racism all day throughout the day. This book is a great tool, and it's a great something for you to use in your independent life. It covers all 9 areas of people activity and how to live your life and how to move throughout your day in the 9 areas. The 9 areas are this as follows for those listening, not watching. You see it here on the screen. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war/counter war. You get the information, you make yourself intelligent, and then you make it apply for you. We ain't here to argue with each other. The one thing that's not a solution is arguing with one another on how I see it versus how you see it. If it gets to a point to where 2 people see it differently, learn how to let it go. That's where we have to stop it. Because I see a lot of times people saying, we got to stop cussing. We got to get along. Look, we're never going to get along. People don't get along. People got their own mindset. People going to cuss. People going to fight. People going to do. And when you're living in neighborhoods where people are poor, you're going to have murders. You're going to have all these things are going to happen. But look, it don't stop shit. When the United States is being built, you know how many goddamn duels Thomas Jefferson was in? You know how many these people, these crackers ain't never got along. They still don't get along. It was a white dude killed a cop just last week. They don't get along. But they codify around a common goal, around a common ideology. Our ideology, our goal is black first. You empower yourself first, and after you empower yourself, you do empowers your group. And that's where we are right now. Those are solutions. Give them your final thoughts, Joe, on some solutions, and go whatever the hell you want to say. Shit, I've been talking.
Well, you know what? As far as solutions, we always hear that. Well, what are we supposed to do? Well, you've already touched on it. Empower yourself. What are you going to do for yourself and your family? Okay, you can come up with solutions for yourself right now, and then when you meet with your friends, and you meet with your church members or your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, and you trade notes, talk shop. Hey, this is what I'm doing over here. This might work for you. That's part of the solution. Okay, don't look for no leader. Look to the idea, because our leaders who were killed, they left the ideas that all we have to do is keep on following the idea, the ideology. You already talked about it. Okay? Do what's in the best interest of your people. Do what's in the best interest of your family. Do what's in the best interest of yourself. Okay? That's how all of this works. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to agree. But at the end of the day, how is our people being brought out of this condition so our children won't continue to fight the same fights that we're fighting? That's the goal. That's how we need to evolve in our awareness, in our thinking. So I hope everybody, if they don't take anything else from what I say, is to empower yourself so you can be a benefit to someone else.
Real talk. And I want you guys to support Joe, Brain Street Designs. If you have anything going on, you need flyers, need design, anything, PowerPoint, you tell them what you do, because y'all should be dope. You know better than I do. Talk.
You about to say PowerPoint. That's not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I fucked up.
It's all good. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what my hustle is. It is a business. Freelance graphic design, independent contractor. I do marketing campaigns, visual marketing, digital, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. I do not do websites, but I can help you find somebody that does. I'm not into the motion graphics heavy, but I'm getting there. But I really want to thank anybody who's listening to it. If I've ever done any business with you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And someone said, hey, support black businesses and do something a little step further than that. Establish a business working relationship with your people, because if you do that, that way you can build strength in the marketplace, and then you can do more business with people who do not look like you. I hopefully make sense to you on that, but that's how we build economic strength as individuals and as a people. So thank you.
And you can catch Joe when his road open back up around out on the road here in LA. We both based out of here in LA. You know what I mean? But when the road hit, you can catch him out there on the road cracking them jokes around town here in LA. Also, same here. You got to build a business, and I think Joe, these overlays, some dope ass overlays he made. Yeah, send me that font so I can get this shit right. Certain things, Joe be designing some dope ass shit, then I'll go around and put my stuff on top of it and mess it up.
You know what? Put you out there, Doc. They can read it. It's written in English, right?
It's written in English, yeah.
You can read it. That's all good.
Yeah. All good. What's your website?
My website is brainstreetdesign.com. brainstreetdesign.com.
So you guys, you see his access Cash App. Y'all see his Cash App above his name. You see the Brain Street Design. The Brain Street Design CEO. Donate to his Cash App too if you feel like it. He's been giving you some good information. But take the Brain Street Design, but make it .com, and that's his website right there.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So we're
Good
gonna do
work.
this again, man, because like, we gotta put it out there. My company, breakthroughas.org, the website is almost completed back up. I had my website popping, but then the WordPress took my shit down. Like one day didn't pay the motherfuckers off auto renew, whole website
Oh,
went down. So my
oh
breakthrough
wow. No
website,
grace
yeah.
period. Dang.
So for anybody that know about my company, Breakthrough Advocacy Services is not janky. WordPress took my shit down, but I do got a bunch of 5-star reviews on Google, and I got some on Yelp. I'm a
That's good.
relationship coach. I help people with their relationships with themselves and especially with their children, because often all my years working in families, within these schools with these kids, I've seen how the school tears families apart, because you
Yep.
have a parent thinking that their child is dumb. That child is like thinking that themselves is dumb, when really it's a school in the middle lying to both the parent and the child, and it can harm and hurt a lot of relationships. So I do have my classes coming, my webinars coming soon. So are my group classes and all that good shit.
Yep.
So yeah, look up Breakthrough Advocacy Services on Google. I have some nice reviews. Read them reviews and see if you like it. Hotepish.com. That gets you go there and get these t-shirts, man. We over here celebrating our scholars, Welsing, Clark, Fuller, Ben Serta, Ben Yakinen. We're gonna do some shows coming up too on all of these scholars and more. Get your
Yeah.
t-shirts, and I'm gonna have Joe design me some. I got some more ideas for t-shirts, and we're gonna work together on designing this shit.
Oh yeah. Coming. I got one coming. It's gonna be dope, man. I keep on doing y'all stuff, man. I gotta get my stuff out there,
Do
man.
your shit, man.
It's a blessing, man. But I like being able to be in service, to our people, and it's been a blessing. But I can't wait till I get some time and I put out some of my ideas for me too. So I can't wait. Can't wait. So
Joe always over delivers, and that's what we do. So remember this, people. Love yourself. Love yourself. Because that's the key to this shit. When we love ourselves, when we treat ourselves with the love and respect, when we move that
yeah,
ego out, fuck these people who call themselves leaders, man. You know what I mean? No one that's truly leader is gonna call themselves one. You know what I mean? They gotta go around saying, "I led this, I did." I'm. They look, man. The lion don't walk around the jungle saying, "I'm the lion." He just bites you if you cross his motherfucking path. So
he just be's a lion.
he's a lion.
That's
So
it.
for the biggest thing we need to learn as a people, man, get rid of personalities. If they got some good game for you that you can learn, actionable that you can use, salute to them and follow the path of what they laid down for you. But get out of the personalities, because like I say, and I'm about to sign off with this, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to listen, pick up, and apply the game. My name is Dewan B. Visit hotepish.com. Thank y'all for joining us. We out.